Hello everyone and welcome to Manga Thursday. Today's manga is My Room is a Dungeon Rest Stop, published by 7 Seas Entertainment. Story by Togoku Hudo, art by Takuya Kiyoshi, and character design by Juna. Now if you're a regular viewer, you know when it says character design, that means that this is, of course, based off a light novel. And even if you didn't have that, you could tell this was based off a light novel with how thin this book is. If you are an average reader of average speed, this would probably take you less than 20 minutes to read all the way through. Not saying that it's not good, but it's just there's not a lot of girth into this. But I'll let you judge yourself if you want to pick this book up. Let's talk about our main character, Suzuki Toro, who is a college dropout and is looking for an apartment. And he finds this one in the city with 2 bedrooms for $300. So obviously his alarms are just like buzzing. He knows there's something up. He doesn't know what it is yet. So he jokes to the real estate agent, what is there, ghost or something? And the realtor just laughs it off and says, of course there's no ghost. But people have said things about goblins and slimes. Toro is obviously like concerned about that statement, but he's desperate and it is very cheap. It's like I said, $300 in the city, so he's going to take it. So later that night, after he gets all of his stuff in there, he tries to leave through his front door, but when he does, it turns into an entrance to a dungeon. Obviously, he's freaking out, thinking that he's been transported into another world. So he runs back into his room, closes the door, and then he looks out the window and sees the city. So he already figures out that if he tries to leave through the front door, he'll enter to the dungeon. It's not explained why it doesn't. It said later that night. I don't know if the night has anything to do with it. We don't really get that much information. It's just he leaves through the front door, it's into the dungeon. After getting over the initial shock of the whole dungeon thing, he actually gets very excited and says in his own words, "It's every man's dream to explore a dungeon." And so he leaves through his window, which is, he's got a ground apartment, so he's just going through the window to go to the city and get supplies. When he returns, he has a mining helmet with a little light on it and goes through the dungeon. He stays close to his door in case of goblins and slimes, as the realtor said, and he notices a body on the ground. Well, at first he thinks maybe it's a goblin, so he picks up a pebble and tosses at it. Well, when he hits it, he finds out that it's not a goblin, that it's actually a woman who is covered in slime and is obviously injured. So he picks her up and takes her back to his room. So she assumes that he must be a mage. And because of all of the wonderful plumbing and all of the lights and such, he just goes along with it because it's easier than actually explaining what's going on. When he gets her back into the apartment, she awakens and introduces herself as Arya Eldrax, or Rhea as he'll start calling her. And she explains that she is a former knight and that she was attacked, obviously. And so basically the story that's about it of really the plot. After that, it's basically just her explaining like status is and equipment and all that stuff. Basically, he finds out that the dungeon works like an RPG, and so he goes into the dungeon while she's taking a shower, and he opens up his status menus, and he learns about slimes like from Dragon Quest, the ones where they are fast to run away, but if you take them out you get bonus experience. So he starts laying traps to capture slimes and then destroying them so that he can level up. And his stats are interesting because he has no level cap, so he can, assuming he actually goes adventuring, which obviously he does. This is just the first volume. You don't, like I said, you don't get anything. The only thing else in here that I haven't talked about is the little white slime that you see on the cover. It's one of them that he captured and he brought back into the apartment for some reason. And it shapeshift into Arya, and that's the cliffhanger at the end. Spoilers, but like really, like I said, nothing happens. The art is cute. It's kind of simplistic, but There's some fan service moments in here, especially with Arya in the shower, and while he was going out and helping, like getting her clothes, because obviously he doesn't have women's clothes in his room. He jokingly gets a like a school We find out that people from the dungeon, or I assume also monsters, that when they come into the apartment, if they look out the window into the city, all they see is a brick wall. So when Suzuki leaves through the window to go and get food and clothes for her, then she just sees him going through a brick wall. So that explains why I'm assuming Japan is not just overflowing with goblins and slimes. But yeah, that's basically all that happens in this book. Like I said, the art is cute, simplistic. The fan service is, decent. She's in the shower, you see butt. If that's what you're into. But for story-wise, if you're going to pick it up, I suggest picking up maybe the first 2 or 3, like I usually do with light novels, adaptations. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to say pass, because it's just, there's nothing to it. Like I said, though, it might pick up with the next couple volumes, but this first one just really didn't drag me, pull me in. So, but of course, it's up to you. If you want to pick it up, I'll put a link below for you to get it physically or digitally. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave comments, and I'll see you next week on another Manga Thursday. Bort-kun signing off.